Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It's a leg day today. You guys already knew that because it is Friday. So we're going to get our lower body strength going for the last workout of the week, the last leg day of the week. Today, we're pairing that leg strength with a nice cardio circuit at the end of the class, which we will, of course, talk about when we get there. For equipment for you guys today, I am going to be using my dumbbells, 8-pounders, bands. I will give you options in case you don't have dumbbells or don't have bands, vice versa. And then today specifically, I have one of these towels that I'm going to be using for some hamstring curls, as well as some stuff where we're going to be pulling our feet in and out. So if you do not have a towel and or if you don't have a floor that's slippery like tile or hardwood or laminate or something like that, I have options for you guys. So do not stress if you don't have that. I will give you a non-towel or body weight or equipment option. Okay, you guys ready to get started? All right, so let's come to the end of our mat. We'll stand shoulder width or hip width apart in our feet, starting off with our infamous walkouts, starting to get that nice stretch in the back of the legs. You guys can walk down to the very bottom. When we get down here, we're gonna get into a nice strong plank, lift up the hips, and then one leg at a time, we'll bend and drop the opposite heel, going through 3 of these per side. Taking our sweet time, 3. And then we'll lower the hips back down into that nice strong plank and then walk up to the top. So that was 1. We're going to do 2 more of those to make it 3 total. I'm just gonna come on this side so you guys can see what's going on with my soft knees but straight legs. Again, we have a plank, we lift, walk out the calves, a little upside down time. We'll do about 6 total, alternating 3 per side. And then we'll go back down to the plank and walk up to the top. Okay, 1 more of those. So I'll let you guys go through that one, taking your time with it. And when you get to the bottom, plank, lift those hips up, and then we'll go through that sequence. Ooh, ooh. Good job, you guys. That one will warm you up pretty quick. Okay, so next one, we will turn around so that we are facing the opposite way. Hands are down by our sides here. We'll step back into a lunge, all the way down to the bottom. And when you get here, we'll turn in once, reset, and then come back up to the top. Other leg now goes down, woo, little balance, and look to the side. Turn, reset, and then up to the top. So as you go through these, we'll try to get the arms a little bit straighter, be in more control of holding nice and still at the bottom. We just want 1 rotation towards that front leg, moving through this part of your body. So we'll go right and left. You guys can do 5 per side, 10 total. Loosening it up. Okay. So we'll go through 5 per side, 10 total. Once you guys are done that one, we will position ourselves close to a wall or something that we can hold on to. We're going to go through some of our leg swings to really get our hips warmed up. Moving this hip back and forth, swinging it. We'll go there and back as 1, and we'll do 10 on this one side. Trying not to let our body move too much, but there will be a little bit of sway, which is okay. But I am holding on with this hand, and I might even turn around and hold on with both hands, because we shouldn't have to worry about balance. So there and back is 1, we're doing 10, and then we're going to turn and face the wall, leg in front of us, and we'll go side to side this way now. So we'll get a nice dynamic stretch through the inner thighs, hip outside of the leg, back and forth is 1, we'll do 10, and then you guys can switch and do the same thing on the other side. The leg swings, I don't know, these ones are kind of fun. Fun is the right word, I'm not sure. So just like we do with our arm swings and our shoulder stuff on our upper body days, we want to release that fluid that's hanging out in your joints, specifically in your hips, by doing these kicks. And I totally lost count. So 10 times, don't kick your wall. So So we'll go there and back 10 times. And then, once you guys are done, which I feel like I was distracted there, we'll get ourselves into a squat stance. So we want to have our feet a little bit wider than our hips, toes pointed out to the side here. We're going to sit you guys down into a squat, grab onto our shins as close as possible, straighten the legs, bend the legs, and then we'll stand up and stick those arms over our head. Good morning, Carly. What's up? So let's get you guys going here on this one now, doing 5 of these total. Again, sitting down. Maybe you can't quite get so close to your ankles. You might be on your knees or high shins. That's totally fine. Straightening out those legs as much as you can. We don't want to be locking out the knees, but so that you feel a stretch through the back of the legs. And then we'll go through 10 of these total. I think I might have said 5, but I meant 10. Let's go. So as you go through your reps, you might be able to be sitting a little bit lower. Get your hands closer to the floor. All right. So we'll get you guys going on those ones. We have a couple more to go through in our warm-up, and they are down on the floor. Yes. So this next one we're going to do is a bird dog. We have been here before. We're going to get onto our hands and our knees. For this one, we're going to take our toes and bend them up so that I create that angle in my foot. And then I'll extend my right arm, left leg, and keep that heel flexed like that. So I kick my heel back. And then I'll hold for 1, 2, and bring it in. And don't touch the floor. And lift them back up and hold for 1, 2. So we'll go through 10 of these per side. Taking our time, pausing at the top, trying to hold that 2 seconds with as much control as possible. This one, we're trying to get that core activation. We're pulling in our belly button. You'll feel your butt squeezing back there as you kick that leg. So we'll do 10 all on that side, and then we will switch and do 10 all on the other side. So again, belly button into the spine so you get a nice straight back. We don't want to be arching our back like so. We want to kind of lift it up so that we don't have that big arch in the back. So we'll go through 10 and 10. Whew. Those ones are. Those ones will warm me up. Nothing else has. So 2-second pause at the top. You guys can. Yes. And then, whoo, flip over. Flipped over a little bit too much. Once you guys are done that one, we have one last little warm-up exercise, and this one is all about our glute and hip activation. So we're going to lay on our back into this bridging position. So feet are where there would be a little bit of a reach. You can feel them. We're going to squish that lower back into the floor as tight as we can. Drive those hips up to the very top. We'll lift up one leg, lower the hips, touching the lower back to the floor, not your butt. Drive them back up. Put this foot back down. Tighten up this butt on this side. Lift the other side. And then we'll lower. Drive the hips up into that hip thrust. So we're getting a nice squeeze on this butt cheek over here. And then we'll switch legs and try to really tap into that stability in our hips so that we don't have any tilting or shifting happening. If you can't control that, something that helps is narrowing up your feet. So if you can't quite keep your hips stable, you can narrow your feet and it will make your life a little bit easier. So we're going through 5 per side, 10 total. Again, trying to switch. Exhale, drive the hips up so you get that nice squeeze in your glutes. And we'll go through 10 total, 5 per side. All right, all right, all right. Okay. Good job, you guys. So once you're done that one, stand yourself up. Should be warm. Should be. So we are going to get you guys going here. What do we got on the menu? Yes! I knew that was there. I have to double check though. All right. So we're going to get you guys going, starting off actually back down on the floor. We're doing a hamstring curl. So like I was explaining at the very beginning, I am going to show you guys the option to do this hamstring curl using this towel on this here laminate floor. If you do not have a slippery floor, maybe you're training on carpet or something that just does not slide, I have options for you guys, whether it's the body weight option or the dumbbell option where we're laying on our tummy, holding that dumbbell between our feet and curling it in to get those hamstrings working. So we're gonna start down here and pair this one with our sumo RDLs, sumo Romanian deadlifts. So we'll talk about those when we get back up here from our first set of these ones. So what I'm going to do is lay on my back. I have the towel just kind of folded up into this long set square here. So both of my feet can fit on it. And then we're going to lay on our back here. You can push our hips up and let your feet go out, hips down, pull the feet in, hips up, and go through like so. Now, because we've been working on these ones for a little bit here, if you guys want to try out and see how you feel about keeping your hips up and pulling in your feet. Now, if that does not feel good, if it feels kind of like you're going to pull your hamstring, don't do it, and just work with that lowering one, butt on the floor, and then we have the hips up on the way out. Again, if you do not have a towel or something like this, body weight option, we can do an extended bridge with the feet further away than they normally would be in a bridge, which targets the hamstrings more. Or again, if you have the dumbbell, you want to do a hamstring curl laying on your tummy. So we can grab this guy between our feet, and then you can curl that bad boy in there, working your hamstrings. You guys are doing it 10 reps total. I'm so sorry. I should always start with telling you the amount of reps, but I just get so excited about the exercise. Okay, so 10 of those. So hopefully you did that. You even got a little few extra reps in. We're going to pair this now with 10 reps of our sumo RDL. So we're in that sumo stance. Soft knees. I have my weights in front of me, and I'm going to push my hips back until I feel that tension in the back of the legs, and then we'll pull forward. So we're not bending the knees like we do in our normal sumo deadlift. We're doing the Romanian deadlift version, which is with the straight legs, which is more hamstring glute focused. So you're gonna feel it much more stretching in the back of the legs, and then we're thinking about that butt squeeze that is lifting us up to the top. So those of you who are working with bands, if you have a long band, you can anchor it around your feet. If you're working with a loop band, you can just hold it down in front of us here for some tension in our upper body and our core. Okay, you guys are doing 10 reps total, and then we are going to take just a quick 30 seconds of rest before we complete 3 more sets of this stuff. So because we are pairing these 2 exercises, they are both working our hamstrings, the upper back of the leg muscles. One of them does it through that leg curl, the other one does it through that hip hinge, but they both focus on the same muscles. So we do want to give ourselves at least 30 seconds here, trying to keep it under a minute so that we can get through this, but about 30 seconds of rest before we go into our second set. So if you want to grab some water, if you want to just get down there, hang out on the floor, wait for your turn, but you guys are going to complete 3 more rounds of this stuff. So usually on our first set's like not the hardest set in the world for the most part, especially when we're kind of limited in terms of our equipment. So these next 3 sets, let's try to make it more challenging so that our 10 reps feels like we don't want to do 11, we don't want to do 12, because we're really feeling those muscles that we're talking about. So with all sorts of hamstring curls, really just go slower. If you're working with this one here, obviously the hip makes a difference. If you're working with the dumbbell, if you squeeze your feet together harder, it's going to make the whole set feel a lot harder. So we're going to involve a bit more muscles in your lower body. So if you're working with this towel curl, just like in the bridge, we want to squish our lower back down into the floor before we go up into that hip bridge, and that's to avoid that arch that naturally wants to happen in our back. So we're kind of crunched in the entire time, and then you can go through your set, going through 10 reps total. So with this one, the longer that it takes me to lower down, if I go slower, the more time under that tension and resistance these guys are going to have. So it's going to make it feel like that 10 is a lot harder, which is what we want. These next 3 sets. Okay, All right, so we have that sumo stance RDL. So we want to really focus on driving the hips back behind us and then pulling the hips forward with that butt squeeze that starts at the bottom of that rep. So we'll go through our 10 reps. Yes. And you guys can rest for 2 more sets. Moving on to the next 2. Good job, guys. Okay, so 10 total. Nice, just 10 reps. But again, those should feel really hard, like especially 8, 9, and rep 10. Those ones should be done properly, but challenging. You got 2 more chances to make that happen for yourself. Okay, so a few deep breaths. Again, grab yourself some water. We can again make our way down onto the floor for our 3rd set. Yes, for the hamstrings. So those of you who do not have much in terms of equipment, maybe you don't have a floor that you can slide on, you don't have dumbbells, if you're doing this extended bridge that I gave you guys as an option, the further away your feet are, the harder it's going to be. So if you move your feet further out like this, I mean, there's a point where you can't quite get your feet out anymore without coming up onto your heels. But even this is going to feel a lot more going up and down on the heels like this. And then if I bring my feet closer and closer, it'll start to just target more of my butt. Whereas the further away my feet, I'll target more of my hamstring. So if you don't have any equipment, you can try even coming up onto your heels like this and doing this extended bridge like so. And you feel your hamstrings a lot. Surprisingly, just that little difference in the bridge. So we'll go through our 3rd set. Both of them. We have 1 more after this. Moving on to the next 2. Woo. All right. So we'll set up those feet and arms are in front of us. Before we start our set, we'll pull our shoulder blades together to help have a nice high chest. And then you guys can go through your set. A little bit too narrow. There you go. So push those hips back. Think about what's happening in the back of your legs. Sorry. Someone was just outside that window. All right, so let's do our thing here. You guys have 1 more round after this one. Woo! 10 and 10. Good job. All right, so back of the legs, butt, hamstrings. Grabbing some water right now, breathing. Whoop, whoop. We have 1 more round, which, you guys have lots of time. We have about 2 minutes. Actually, that is not a lot of time. So we'll take about 30 seconds and then get right going onto our final set here so that we can finish these last 2 up. And it is just 10 reps of each. So it's a bit of a quicker set. All right, so a couple deep breaths, you guys. Let's get down here and do our final round of these 2, 10 and 10. And then we'll move on to the next 2. Okay. All right, so last set. The hand curls of the sumo RDLs. Woo. So you should be, in theory, feeling this final set much more than the past 3 sets. So you've been working hamstrings, your body knows what's going on now. So really do try to think about it, but you might not have to think about it as much. It's the last set. So we'll get the 10 down there. Bring it up here for the 10 standing. So going through, setting up those feet, trying to have the hips move back and hips move forward. So 10 reps total, especially on the way down on this final set here. That is where you can slow it down a little bit. Every down phase of each rep. Way up can still be our normal 2 seconds, but especially on this last set. You just want to really feel those hands and butt a little bit more. Slow it down. Okay. Nice work. 10 reps. And then we are resting. Okay, nice work, guys. So once you're done, you can grab yourself a quick sip of water. We're gonna move on essentially right away so that we can get going on the next part here, which will use all of that stuff. Leave these right here. Okay. Good job. So we're gonna move on to the next part. So we have 2 new exercises. They are not new. We've been here before, but they are new. They are not those ones that we just did. We have our single leg deadlift, which I'm going to do holding on to something. So I'm going to position myself close to this wall so that I can hold on, so that I do not have to focus on balance, and I can more focus on my hamstring and working the back of my leg. So I have both of my weights here. To make this 16-pound weight, I'm going to stand on the side that I'm just grazing the wall. I'm not like holding on for dear life, white knuckle grip. I'm just grazing it so that I don't have to worry about that stability. Softening in that standing leg. Again, it's the closer one to the one that my hand is on. And then we're going to hinge our hips, push the hips back, not kick the mirror. And we're going through 15 reps per side. Trying to drive the hips back and drive the hips forward. If you're using your loop bands or any kind of other band, it is anchored around underneath this standing foot here. And we're doing 15 reps. So with this hand here, it's just grazing. So it's actually moving down and moving up as I go, because I don't want to be like holding on so tight over here so that my body moves as I go down. I'm just using it to assist my balance. So we'll go through 15 and 15. That being said, if you guys do want to incorporate the balance, if you're working with something that's not the heaviest thing in the world, holding on does make it slightly easier, again, more targeted on the muscles and less on your balance and stability. But if you're working with a light weight or maybe a light band like this, you might find it's more challenging without holding on. So you can be the judge. So we'll go through 15 and 15. Yes. So same focus here, the back side, the back of the leg. So we are going to pair this with some squats. Yep. Well, we're going to grab onto our weights. If you're using dumbbells, we're holding them up at our chest here. If you're using bands, what we're going to do is take our band, the yellow one, I'm wearing black pants, you can't really see it. So this is an option if you have dumbbells or if you don't have them. If you don't have the dumbbells, cannot talk, definitely do this. If you have the dumbbells, you can add the band if you want a little bit more work on the sides of your hips and on your butt. So we're going to pair these single leg deadlifts, 15 and 15, with our sumo stance squats, where we're doing 15. So we got all the reps in this one. So when you guys are done those deadlifts, you can get yourself set up into your sumo squat position here. So the difference between a squat and a deadlift is we want the knees and the hips bending at the same time so that we sit our butt down to this 90-degree position here. Whereas the deadlift, the hips stay lifted in the air. So for these ones, we want to get our butt down here, and we're going through 15 reps total and trying to sit our butt down, push our knees out. If you're using the band, you're getting some work. The band wants you in, so you have to push the knees out to not let that happen. And we're going to 15 reps total. So again, the band is optional. Definitely use your dumbbells. It's always so hard to get out of those things. And then we'll go through getting our butt down here, 15 reps total. Unless you have some pre-existing knee stuff, then you might not want to sit so low, and that's okay. But for the most part, all of us, let's try to get down to that 90 degrees, that not so comfortable position. So these ones, today, good news. You guys are doing 3 rounds total. So we're going to complete 2 more sets after this one, and we are going back to back, little to no rest in between. Maybe if you need to grab a quick sip of water, that's okay. But we'll try to go right into our next set here, back into those first ones, those single leg deadlifts. So those of you who are using bands as your resistance, remember that more bands equals harder. So if you add more than 1 band around that anchor point, I have both my yellow and my black one, it is going to be a lot more challenging than if I was to just use the black one or just the yellow one. Remember, we're holding on, so we really do want to make it hard and heavy and all of that. So we'll go through our second set here, 15 and 15. So I know it's a little confusing sometimes. You're holding on with this hand. We're standing on that same side that we're holding on. Now, oftentimes, something that can be a little bit confusing about the single leg deadlift is what's happening with your back leg. And this is actually something that when I first started working out, like doing these exercises, I was convinced that this is how you did this one. It was a kick. You kicked your leg up, and that's what this, I thought that's what this one was. Whereas it's actually nothing to do with this leg here. Whatever happens with this leg happens, and that will be individual to you and me and to whoever. What's the most important is that we are pushing our hips back. So hips go back. Whatever happens to this leg, whether it's bent, whether it's straight, it just happens. But the most important thing is that we're driving the hips back, driving the hips forward, and that way we're not kicking and creating an arch in our back and not actually using hip muscles to do this. So make sure that that is happening, that you guys have that feeling of your hips going behind you, pushing back, and then pulling forward. And if you do that, you really don't have to worry about your form ever being off, because that really does help us clean it up. It's just that hips back, hips forward. So let's try that. I'm sure you're probably done your second set, but do one more. So we'll go into our second round of these sumo squats, although those ones take a bit, those 15 and 15, that higher rep range. So when we're done those ones, both legs, we will go into our second set of these sumo squats where we're trying to get our butts down here. Weights are front loaded and not resting on our shoulders. We're trying to just hold them in front of us. And we're pushing our knees out to the sides, over our pinky toes. 15. Burning reps. Okay. All right, you guys. So we'll finish up the second set here. One more round with this one. There you go. So 90 degrees, keeping our chest up, trying to get those hips down, feeling the back of the legs, back of the hips, but also the quads are working on this one, the front of the thighs. So we'll go through those 15, and if you need to grab a quick sip of water, quick moment to find your life, assess how your legs feel. We have one more set of these 2. And then we are moving on. After this, there are 2 more lower body strength exercises, and it is cardio time. Good news, which means we are almost there. So we'll finish up here. One more round of these ones. Let's get it. Let's get it. Just grazing that wall nice and lightly. Yes. Okay, So if you guys have not started your third set, it is your time to shine, to get this final one in. 15 reps on each side. Woo! So this is our last set of these ones. Same rules apply. Want to make it a little harder. Slow down. That last set. Maybe even those last 5 reps. Okay, lift you guys. Let's get it. Last set. Burning glutes. That one, you should feel your hips like crazy by the end of it, of those 15. So we'll do both sides here, trying to do the exact same thing that you did on the first side, on this other side. And holding up the weight, the band on the opposite side that we are standing on. All right, last set. Okay. All right, guys, so final round. It's the last set. We'll get this final set of these sumo squats. Trying to find that positioning in our knees. We're trying to push the knees out to the sides to help create that tension on the sides of our hips, which you'll feel more if you drive your knees apart. As soon as they come in, even a little bit, we're not really working anything in the sides of the hips, we're working other stuff. But it becomes a lot safer on your knees and a lot more focused on your glutes if you push your knees out. Let's try to do that. Should be now on this last set. All right. So we'll give you guys about 1 minute to finish up last round before we move on to our next part, which is our last part. Yay! Okay. 15 reps. You guys, good job. When you're done, you can grab yourself some water. Woo! We got 2 more. Okay, good job, guys. So I'll give you guys about 10 more seconds here to just regroup before we'll start our next part, which we should be starting right about now. 2 more exercises that are going to take us to the last part, which is that conditioning cardio finisher, which we will get to. Next 2, we are going to complete 4 rounds of these 2 exercises. First one, I'm going to be holding my weights down by my sides, starting in the center of my mat. We're stepping back into a lunge and then forward into a lunge. That's 1. I go back, forward, that's 2. We're doing 8 per side. So I'm going to do 8 on this side. That's 3. There and back equals 1, 4. Okay, you guys got me? So you can start your set with me here, doing 8 per side. So we'll do 8 on that side. Only count 1 of these lunges, whether it's the front one or the back one. Don't count both, or else you're going to miss out on half your reps. So there and back equals 1. We are doing 8. Trying to push ourselves right into that back lunge. Now, if you don't have weights, if you're working with bands, we'll just do this one body weight and focus on really using our legs to push ourselves and pull ourselves forward. All right. This one kind of gets a little bit of heart rate up, cardio creeping up on you. Back and forth. Okay. Nice work, you guys. So we'll do both sides here. Woo-hoo. You got it. All right. So final one that we're going to do with this one is a lateral banded walk. We're going to go there and back 8 times total. So you guys are going to band up if you have a band. If you don't have a band, you're going to follow along doing the same thing with no band. We'll come to one side of our mat, have the band around my ankles, around my heels, hip hinge. So we want that nice posture. Push our hips back so our butt is stuck out and it feels like it's got tension on it. And then we'll step out wider than hip width and then hip width to the end of the mat and then back. That's 1. Okay, so every rep is 1. You guys are doing 8 total. I think I accidentally said 8 times there and back. It's 4 times there and back. Yay. So let's go. So you can count 1, 2, 3, every time, make it 8, or you can go there and back 4 times total. And if you do not have a band, then you don't have to worry about taking it on and off, but you're going to do the same thing here with the hip hinge, the tight glutes, hips, and go through your steps. Okay, so this is you guys. 3 more sets of this, back to back. No rest in between, just that transition time that maybe it takes you to get off your band, put it back on, and then we'll go through our second set. So we're back into this first one. If you're using weights. Now with this one, sometimes if your weights are like kind of heavy, if they're like 10s or 12s or something like that, you might find that this is too hard with 2 weights down by your sides. You can't really push yourself all the way into that back lunge. You might find with your weights you have to kind of touch down in between. If that's happening, I want you guys to maybe put 1 weight down, work with something lighter. You can hold it at your chest like this, or maybe you just work body weight. Focus on trying to get yourself to be able to push all the way back into that next lunge. So that is important because that little standing time in between, we're tapping into our balance, our stability, and so we want to be able to do that. Okay, so yes, their back is 1, because you're doing 8. Let's do it. All right. So like I said, for those of you who are body weight, what we're thinking about is that this front lunge, we're trying to push ourselves up and all the way back to when you're looking over to the side. And then on this back lunge, we're trying to use this leg to pull ourselves up and forward. So even if you are working with weights, that's something that you can think about is rather than pushing yourself off with that back leg, we want to pull ourselves up with that front leg. And yes, it's going to be harder, I know. So maybe you want to start on your harder side, although this is kind of a sneaky, double-sided situation. Okay. So once you guys have done those, we'll band up. Get those side steps. So we'll go again 8 times across our mat for the butt. So we should really feel that tension, that tightness in the back of our hips, which is something that you really have to do for yourself. Fortunately, I cannot help you with that. I can only explain it, how to do it, but you have to find it with that hip hinge and actually think about it a little bit, which will help. All right. Take your sweet time, you guys. We have lots of it. We have about 6 minutes to finish up your last 2 sets. Excuse me. Which means we kind of got to get to work. These ones take a little bit. So right when you're done, your banded side steps, we'll go right into our third set of these back and forth lunges. Now, especially if you're working with your body weight, something that we like to do, we've done this before, like in our cardio circuits and such, so we'll jump in the back. But if your body weight, now that you've mastered what's happening with your legs, you can start to get your opposite arms involved. And if you're holding weights, not so much the case, weights are just going to stay down here. But if you're not holding weights, then we can have opposite arms and legs working together, which is just good practice. Gets that little coordination snuck in there, which you know we like to do. Okay, third set. Let's get it. These ones, and pushing ourselves off. Going through 8 per set. Now, absolutely, yes, the strength of your band will influence how hard these side steps are. And sometimes, if your band is too strong, like this one here, put the yellow one on before, because this one would most likely be a little bit too strong. It's quite tight. It's great for stuff like rows and squatting and stuff like that. But when it comes to these side steps, if your band is too tight, you might feel like you're kind of like waddling to get across here, which is nothing of what we want. We want that nice strong positioning in our body so that our whole entire body is not affected by these side steps. Ooh, this would be very hard. So I can maintain it, but as soon as I start to feel like I'm doing some of this, maybe this band might be a little bit too strong. So you can grab a lighter one if you have it. Or maybe don't step so wide. That's okay too. Okay, so last set. Woo-hoo. Second last one. Finishing up now. You guys have your final one coming up next. Yes. For the legs. Okay. Last one. This is it, you guys. 8 and 8 and 8. Let's get it. Okay, so final set of these lunges. Take those nice deep breaths. Remember, use your exhale. Anytime you're having to push, which is off the ground when you're pulling yourself up, remembering to breathe on your last set. Good job, you guys. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, last set. Finishing just as strong as you started on these ones. Let's do it. There it is. All right, so we'll get both sides. Finishing strong. So I know these ones really do catch up to you. Like I said, your cardio is probably creeping up on you. Your heart rate is elevating. It's kind of the idea behind this one. But try your best to stay as proper as you can in terms of your form. Use those legs to try to push yourself off, pull yourself up. Not touching down in the middle, especially on this last set. Is your last one. Okay, so we're going to finish off with our lateral side steps. So you guys can get banded up here. This is our last banded exercise. Let's finish up nice and strong. 8 times total. 4 times there and back. Okay. And actually, yes. Okay, good job, you guys. So please take your time with that final one there. We are going to move on to the last part where you don't need any equipment, just that towel and that floor, that slippery floor. We're going to be doing some stuff in a plank position with our feet on this towel, we're pulling in our knees. So if you need to set yourself up, some space for that, you need to grab your towel again, whatever it is. And of course, if you don't have something like this, I have a great option that you do not need a slippery floor or anything like that. It is just body weight, and it's just your body in a plank position. We'll talk about it when we get there. This is the last one. We're going to start off with the first one, which is our broad jump to walk up. So what I'm going to do is start at the back of my mat. You guys are going into our conditioning circuit. I've already said that a couple times. Time format today, you guys are doing our 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So there is the option for those of you who want to make it a little bit more spicy and work through that rest. If you want to do that, that is completely up to you. That option is on the table today. So what we're going to do is come to the end of the mat. I'm going to show you guys just one rep here. Go press start on the timer, and then I'll show you the other exercises on the timer, okay? So broad jump, we'll come to the back of the mat. We'll take a big jump forward, feet out, and then we'll walk up to the top. So this is going to be you guys for 40 seconds, maybe 60 if you're into that kind of thing. Okay, and of course, low impact friends. I got you guys. I'm going to give you your low impact version so you don't have to worry about doing the high impact one. I'm so sorry. This timer, of course, is not set, but that's okay. We'll take an extra little bit of rest. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So low impact, you're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. Step, step. Walk it up and do it again. Okay, let's go. And if you're jumping, we're taking a big jump and walking up to the top. Standing up between each one. Let's do this. 15 seconds left. Woo! Okay. 3, 2, 1. Nice work, you guys. Okay, so next one is a butt kick jog. So don't start yet because you have this 20 seconds of rest right now. For the next 40 seconds, we're going to be butt kick jogging in place, or if you want to add a little bit of movement to it, you can, where we are kicking our heels up to our butt. Opposite arms are helping out my legs. Ready, set, go. Low impact. We're just doing a quick march in place, where you can sub it in for knee to elbow if you would like. And let's go. Trying to kick our butts with our heels because it is a butt kick jog. Let's do it. Guys, okay. So we're going down into that plank position here. I'm going to put my feet on this towel like so. And again, you have 10 more seconds of rest here. So just chill out. The wall, your mat, and or you can do our fast over and back quick feet like this. Whatever makes you move your body, move your feet, get your heart rate up. 3 rounds, toe, starting off with our second set in about 10 seconds, which is our first one, which is that broad jump burpee. Okay. You guys ready? All right, let's go. That was us. So we're back to this first one for our second of third. Maybe you want to keep working through this to make this entire workout feel a lot more challenging. Optional though, of course, 10 more seconds here before we start our butt kick jog. All right, you guys, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So arms, again, we know the deal with the arms. I know this kind of feels like that can, but it does make it a lot harder to move the arms straight than to move the arms bent or to not move them at all. So something you can add in there if you would like. We got 20 seconds left. So especially if you did choose to work through the rest on the first round or on that last exercise, then you are going to do that on all of them. This one, the next round, until we are done. Just soon. 3, 2, time. Nice work, you guys. Okay. Take those deep breaths. A couple of them up here. Slowly make your way down onto the floor, where we are going to be pulling in our feet on this towel. Ready? Let's go. Do it. So again, if you don't have that towel, we're just stepping in, stepping out this entire amount of time, which you guys have 20 seconds left of to do this. Yes. Good job, guys. Exhale when you bring those knees in. Controlling your breath. Last one, 3, 2, okay. Good job. Woohoo. We are up for the toe taps. Okay. Second last time you guys are here. We're gonna have one more round after this and you're done. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we'll try to stay nice and light on our feet so that we're not actually kicking whatever we are tapping our toes on. It is a toe tap. So you want to lean our weight back slightly and just lightly tap our toes on whatever is in front of us. For 20 more seconds. And we're trying to get as many of these in as we can. Here it is. Come on. 10 seconds left here. Come on, you guys. You got this. See, it's kind of fun. I don't know. Fun is the right word. Rest. Good job. Okay. Good work. We are going to go through one more set, and then we are done. Woohoo! Okay, so come to the end of your mat. Get yourself mentally, physically prepared for this final round. Starting off with this first one, the broad jump to walk up. Let's go. So we'll try to go as quickly as possible, getting as many of these in as we can within this amount of time that we have. And if there's any part of you that feels like you can keep going through the rest, I want you to do that for yourself, for me, for you, for us, to make this nice, give yourself a nice strong finish for this cardio. 10 seconds here. Let's go. Let's go. Good work, you guys. And that is 40 seconds. Nice work. So maybe some of us are still going through this. If you're resting, you can stay moving, keep walking and breathing. Of course, you're going to breathe, but try to control your breath. We're going to get you guys going on that butt kick jog in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So again, if you want to add a little bit of movement into it, you can go forward and backward or sideways or whatever you want. Stay still. Doesn't matter. 30 more seconds though. I want you guys to move your body, your feet, your arms, all of it. Get your heart rate up. That is the goal here. Halfway, 20 seconds left. There it is. Come on. 10 more seconds. Good job, guys. 3, 2, 1. Nice work. All right, we got 2 more. Salad, knee pull-ins. The toe taps. There. Yes. All right, so let's get down here. Get yourself ready. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Let's do this, you guys. Final round. You have 30 seconds on this one. This is your final set. For the day, for the week, the weekend after this, tomorrow. But 15 more seconds. We need you to focus on this one. And if there's, again, feel like you want to go through the rest here, that would take you 30 more seconds. So if you think you can do that, I want you to stay up when this beat goes off. In 3, 2, okay, so we have 20 seconds here before we are starting our final one, the toe taps. Yes, put these ones last so we can toe tap our way to the finish line. All right, so we'll get you guys ready to start here. Last set of toe taps in 3, 2, let's go. So this is it, final round, the final set of these ones, of this one, of all of them. So let's give it all of our energy right here, right now on these toe taps. Try to move your feet a little bit faster. Make your arms move faster with the feet. 20 seconds, you guys, and you better believe I'm gonna let this clock run for that last 20 seconds as well. So if you do wanna work through that final 20 seconds of rest, you can do so. Starts in 10 seconds, come on. Let's go, you guys. And that is 40, nice work, you guys. If you're still going through, we're gonna leave this clock running until the app tells us our activity is completed in 10 seconds. So just keep going through that. If you're done, you're walking and you're breathing, you're resting. We're gonna join you in 3, 2, 1, and time. Nice work, you guys. Woohoo! We are done, yay. So right now, we're gonna take a couple minutes to just recover, breathe, let our heart rate come down, drink some water, doing all that so that we are not gonna feel so hot and heavy and sick when we go into these stretches that I'm gonna leave you guys with. So starting off with a standing one, your calves. We just did that little bout of jumping around there, which required a lot of work from these calf muscles. So when you're starting to feel like a normal person, like you can hold down a conversation, you can bring yourself into this stretch here to start stretching out your calves, and you can hold each side for about 1 minute. So we'll do 1 minute on both sides, 1 minute, 1 minute. 2 more that I would like to leave you guys with today are down on the floor. So I'm just gonna show you the ones, show you these ones, and then I'll let you guys complete at least 1 more set, but you know the drill. If you do more than one, you're gonna get more benefit from them. So the first one is our bow and arrow. We've all been here before because I feel like this one I have like implanted in our brains and ingrained in our minds because it's such a great stretch. So when you're feeling then okay, like you can lay down, you're not gonna feel pukey, we'll get ourselves into this position and wrap this top leg underneath the bottom, and then we can go through this one, this rotation, and you guys can use this as a stretch now. So we'll hold this here, and you can spend at least 30 seconds, upward to a minute, just holding this stretch. You can look over, up, to the other side, whatever you want to do, and we will just hold this here. So spend some time doing this stretch. In addition to this one, you should probably stretch out your glutes. So we'll do both sides, of course, because it's a double-sided exercise. And then the last one you guys can work into is this glute stretch here. We'll get that nice stretch through the back of the legs. And then same idea, we'll try to hold that one for about a minute per side. Okay. You guys are done with me. Thank you so much. Yay! Thank you to Carly for coming out live and joining me here. Have a great weekend. I will see you guys next week, and we will go from there. Bye, you guys.